See, a big dog can get checked if it's by the right person, if you got the right intellect. There's nothing wrong with being properly put in place if you out of place. Because he was really my friend, and you guys sometimes be talking like they don't really know, but that was my friend, and he was like dear.
After nearly 30 years, Snoop Dogg is finally speaking out about what truly happened between him and Tupac. In a revealing interview, he insists that he is innocent and claims the truth has been distorted over the years. But with so much damage already done, the question lingers: is peace even possible now? The breaking point came when he openly addressed all the rumors and misinformation. This moment marks a turning point where Snoop Dogg sets the record straight, pushing back against the twisted narrative that's haunted their legacy.
I went to the water, I was in the sky, me and Tupac was like 30 feet in the air.
The hip-hop community has seen countless rivalries, but few cut as deep as the fractured brotherhood between Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur. As Snoop turned 54 in October 2025, a Radar Online exclusive reignited public fascination with their turbulent relationship, a friendship ruined by jealousy, paranoia, and the toxic atmosphere of Death Row Records just days before Tupac's tragic death in September 1996. They were more than collaborators. They were brothers, bonded by shared struggles, street politics, and the challenge of maintaining authenticity in the face of fame. Their work together, especially on two of America's most wanted, from Tupac's All Eyes on Me album, symbolized West Coast unity during the peak of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. However, beneath the surface, tensions brewed. Tupac's immense work ethic and magnetic presence began overshadowing Snoop, whose status as Death Row's golden child was challenged. Snoop admitted in a 2025 interview on The Breakfast Club that jealousy was a root cause of their fallout, a truth few dared admit publicly. The dynamic shifted significantly when Tupac signed with Death Row after Suge Knight bailed him out of prison, a move that seemed generous, but was actually a calculated business decision. This shift led to rivalry and personal conflict, with Tupac growing increasingly frustrated over perceived betrayals within the label, culminating in the devastating end to their brotherhood.
Talk about one of your biggest regrets was not squashing out things with Pop.
Yeah.
That still sits with you to this day?
It do, because he was really my friend.
The core of the conflict between Snoop Dogg and Tupac wasn't personal animosity, but pressures of dominating the volatile West Coast rap scene in the 90s. Napoleon from Tot Laws said in a 2023 interview that Snoop was jealous when Tupac joined Death Row, overshadowing his spotlight, which explains why Snoop's 2025 praise of Tupac might mask deeper resentment. This jealousy fueled tension, but the real fracture stemmed from their opposing views on the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, the feud that ultimately claimed Tupac and Biggie's lives. Tupac, hardened by his 1994 shooting and suspecting East Coast enemies, adopted a militant stance, refusing peace or neutrality, which contrasted starkly with Snoop's more laid-back, de-escalating attitude. This ideological divide peaked with Tupac's brutal diss track Hit 'Em Up, which Snoop openly criticized for escalating violence. Tensions boiled over during a tense 1996 MTV Video Music Awards moment when Tupac angrily confronted Snoop over his interview, expressing respect for Biggie and Puffy, an incident that nearly sparked a fight. Snoop avoided Tupac afterward, leading to a complete communication breakdown days before Tupac's murder, encapsulating the paranoia and danger surrounding Death Row Records in its last days.
My uncle come upstairs and he said, Tupac is tripping. I'm like, what you mean? He said he talking about you. I said, nah, you tripping. I can't talk.
The situation escalated quickly and dramatically. Snoop Dogg received a call from Muta, a member of the Outlaws, saying that Tupac wanted some weed. Their conversation was brief and cold, lacking the warmth that defined their past friendship. That night at the club, Tupac reportedly grabbed a Biggie record off the turntable, wildly displaying aggression and making it clear that anyone not fully on his side was his enemy. However, the true nightmare unfolded the next day on the flight back to Los Angeles, a moment Snoop has described as haunting him for decades. Tensions from their differing views on the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, with Tupac's confrontational stance clashing with Snoop's preference for peace and neutrality, came to a head during this flight. According to Suge Knight, Tupac was furious over Snoop's radio interview in which he expressed respect for East Coast artists, feeling betrayed by someone he once called brother. Their confrontation in the hotel lobby after the 1996 MTV Video Music Awards nearly turned physical before being diffused. Afterwards, Snoop kept his distance, even avoiding Tupac on the flight, marking the beginning of their frayed relationship, which ended just days before Tupac's tragic death.
This time I go to the airport, my security walking with me, Suge like, hold up, they can't roll. They gotta catch a regular flight. First of all, Pac ain't said to me though, from that moment on.
But everybody else has security.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg found himself alone on a private plane surrounded by potential enemies, without any security by his side, a situation that anyone familiar with the streets would recognize as extremely dangerous. He had to rely on his instincts and survival skills to navigate this perilous moment. Snoop recalled that normally he would have 2 security guards with him on such flights, but this time was different. Suge Knight had his own crew, and tensions were high. This flight marked one of the most tense and frightening moments of Snoop's life, a vivid reminder of how deeply fractured his relationship with Tupac had become in those final days leading up to Tupac's tragic death.
I walked to the back of the plane, give me a blanket, grab me a knife and a fork, the blanket over my nose right here, my low black glasses on, and ride like this the whole flight, hoping one of them come with me so I could stab out everybody on the smoke.
This wasn't paranoia, it was pure survival instinct, sharpened by years navigating deadly street situations. The tense 5.5-hour flight was basically a silent war, with Tupac and others talking around Snoop, deliberately ignoring his presence. When they landed, Snoop made one last attempt to mend their broken friendship, trying to salvage what remained from the brotherhood that was unraveling before his eyes.
We step off the plane, I'm like, Pop, you going to Vegas to the fight? I said, that's the last time I seen my life.
On September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur was shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas after attending the Mike Tyson vs. Bruce Seldon boxing match. Tupac was inside a black BMW sedan driven by Suge Knight when a white Cadillac pulled alongside and a gunman fired multiple shots, striking Tupac 4 times. Despite efforts to save him, Tupac succumbed to his injuries 6 days later on September 13th, 1996 at 4:03 p.m. Upon hearing the news, Snoop Dogg rushed to the University Medical Center in Las Vegas, hoping for closure and a final moment with his friend. The visit left an emotional scar on Snoop that has haunted him for decades. However, his account of this visit was disputed by singer Danny Boy, who claimed Snoop never made the hospital trip, intensifying the controversies and conspiracy theories surrounding Tupac's death. These conflicting stories are emblematic of the distrust and paranoia prevalent around Death Row Records at the time. Various accusations, including those from Suge Knight, have followed Snoop Dogg over the years, alleging his involvement or foreknowledge of Tupac's murder, but no credible evidence has ever substantiated these claims. The murder investigation has pointed to gang retaliation as the motive rather than any industry conspiracy. Despite the pain and public scrutiny, Snoop Dogg has consistently expressed remorse over what happened and has refused to justify or minimize the tragedy.
Because he was really my friend, and you guys sometimes be talking like they don't really know, but that was my friend and he was like dear to me. And anytime you got a relationship with somebody and it's like it's working, it's going good, and then y'all get an argument and nigga die. Like, come on, man. Like, I didn't even get a chance, whether I was wrong or right, just to be able to get that follow.
Snoop Dogg, having evolved from his tumultuous early days, has now become a mentor and guiding figure within the hip-hop community. He actively works to uplift young artists like Vince Staples, providing them with mentorship, advice, and opportunities to succeed. Snoop's dedication to fostering the next generation extends beyond music. He's also a vocal advocate for building generational wealth, emphasizing the importance of ownership and financial literacy for emerging artists. His own journey from a gang member in Long Beach to a global icon serves as a powerful example for those facing similar struggles. Snoop's commitment to mentorship is evident in his collaborations, his speeches, and his efforts to empower youth from underserved communities. His 2025 album even reinforces this message, featuring tracks that promote financial independence and smart investment strategies. Through all this, Snoop remains grounded in the lessons learned from his past, continuously inspiring others to turn adversity into opportunity while cementing his legacy as not just a rapper, but a mentor and a role model for future generations.
It's a line of ownership. You understand what I'm saying? Teaching ownership through lyrics, because a lot of us make records, get our publishing up, and then we sell it, and then we think we did a good thing. And when you sell that, okay, if you get 100 million, what state you live in? Okay, knock off some taxes for that. Okay, how many family members you got?
Snoop Dogg's emphasis on generational wealth contrasts sharply with the short-term mindset that fueled Death Row Records' toxic culture in the 90s, where instant fame and jealousy often tore friendships apart. Today, Snoop advocates for building lasting legacies that uplift entire families and communities. This growth is clear in his mentorship of younger artists, artists, especially Kendrick Lamar. Snoop's relationship with Kendrick reflects lessons learned from his fallout with Tupac. For example, when Kendrick called out Snoop's reposting of Drake's AI-generated Tupac and Snoop diss track Tailor Made, Snoop responded with humility and wisdom, recognizing the need to learn from younger generations rather than escalating conflicts. This careful navigation avoids repeating past mistakes, showing Snoop's evolution in handling industry disputes and maintaining unity in hip-hop. His mentorship blends hard-earned experience with a commitment to guiding the next generation toward longer-term success.
That's my little homie. He spoke his mind. He said what he said. Like, and like I said earlier, like, as an older guy, sometimes we don't have radar on what we're doing. It was a repost from Gin and Juice, that Who Kid said.
Damn, Who Kid?
But it had that song in it. I don't even know what the fuck the song was. I just reposted on my shit because it's my brand. Then when I get wind of it, naturally, I reach out to nephew, let him know, my bad, I didn't mean that. And naturally, he responded the way he responded.
The key difference between this situation and the Tupac fallout: communication and accountability, two things that were sorely lacking in the death row environment.
See, a big dog can get checked if it's by the right person, if he got the right intellect. There's nothing wrong with being properly put in place if you out of place. That's what's wrong with half of us, that we feel like the young generation can't tell us nothing. You used to be young too. And you had a mind and you had a spirit, and sometimes the young generation can teach the old dog a new trick if he willing to listen.
Snoop Dogg's willingness to listen, be accountable, and maintain relationships despite disagreements shows a maturity that could have potentially saved his friendship with Tupac if he had possessed it back then. His relationship with Kendrick Lamar remains strong because he has learned from past mistakes and refuses to let pride or ego destroy valuable connections. Leading the West Coast hip-hop renaissance of 2024-2025 through Kendrick's dominance, Snoop embraces a supportive role instead of a competitive one. Their bond, rooted in mutual respect and mentorship, highlights how Snoop's growth and humility have helped him build lasting relationships while fostering unity in hip-hop culture.
Right now, Kendrick is the heavyweight. So it's like, that's why I'm coming back, so I can get his back, to let him know that the OG stand with him and got his back. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we do as musicians. We put our flags down and we let people know that we do make great music representing our culture.
Snoop Dogg's supportive stance toward Kendrick Lamar marks a significant evolution from the competitive and jealous atmosphere he experienced during Death Row's 90s heyday. While Snoop once felt overshadowed by Tupac's meteoric rise, he now openly celebrates Kendrick's success without any insecurity or resentment. This shift reflects not only Snoop's personal growth, but also a deeper understanding of legacy and greatness, recognizing that lifting others up does not diminish his own achievements. As a mentor, Snoop has handled challenges, like Kendrick calling him out on the controversy over the AI-generated diss track Tailor Made, with humility and wisdom, avoiding conflict and preserving their strong bond. This maturity and willingness to listen have kept their relationship solid, allowing Snoop to continue influencing the West Coast hip-hop renaissance of 2024-2025 by supporting, not competing with, younger artists. Snoop's journey from gangsta rapper to grandfather has deeply informed his perspective on beef, mentorship, and life, emphasizing legacy over fleeting fame.
When you get older, you get wiser, and I realize that being a grandfather is like a treat. I got a strong-ass wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, she really been holding me down for the longest, and when she say certain things, I don't even go against it. What's best for the family is what's necessary.
Snoop Dogg's transformation represents a profound shift from the thug life mentality that defined his early days and contributed to the fallout with Tupac. Today, his family-first philosophy is evident, reflected in his relationship with his wife, Shantae, who now sets boundaries like no smoking upstairs around their grandchildren, a stark contrast to the defiant street soldier he once was, ready to fight on that tense plane ride. The ongoing debates about Snoop's role in hip-hop, especially regarding Tupac, reveal the complexities of legacy in a turbulent era. Though critics label him a snake, the reality is far more nuanced. Snoop was a young man, trapped in impossible circumstances, navigating loyalty and survival in a volatile industry. Over nearly 3 decades, he has honored Tupac's memory through meaningful tributes, like the 2012 Coachella hologram and the 2017 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction speech. His recent reflections showed Tupac's spirit still strongly resonates, particularly in modern activism. The pain of unfinished business and regrets weighs heavily on Snoop, but he uses his story as a cautionary tale for others. Ultimately, the supposed beef between Snoop and Tupac was a tragic misunderstanding amplified by external pressures and violence. As Suge Knight's unfounded accusations and online conspiracy theories persist, Snoop remains focused on what truly matters: building generational wealth, mentoring younger artists, supporting his family, and keeping Tupac's legacy alive through honest storytelling.